tonight, less than 48 hours after the abductions of the College of Forestry students, troops foil another kidnap attempt in Kaduna State. Residents of Abule Ado Shoba hold memorial service 1 year after a deadly pipeline explosion which claimed at least 15 lives. Plus, Nigeria's music sensations Burna Boy and Wizkid win coveted Grammy awards. And it's another bloody day in Myanmar's main city, Yangon, as security officers open fire on protesters, killing at least 14 persons. Plus sports and more international news. We begin tonight in Kaduna State, where efforts are still ongoing to rescue the remaining 39 abducted students of the College of Forestry Afaka kidnapped on Friday. And while that is still ongoing, the military says it has foiled yet another attempt by bandits to abduct students at the Government Science Secondary School in Ikire, local government area of Kaduna State today. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Mr. Samuel Arawan, says the bandits invaded the school last night and attempted to abduct the students before the arrival of soldiers who engaged them in a gun battle. Mr. Arawan says the students utilized the security warning system in place and were able to alert security forces who moved swiftly to the school and engaged the bandits, forcing them to flee. Meanwhile, troops of the Nigerian Air Force also foiled another attack by bandits on the senior staff quarters of the Kaduna International Airport around EVERARD village in Igabi local government area of the state. Mr. Arawan explains that the soldiers engaged the bandits in a gun battle, forcing some of them to flee with gunshot wounds.
Between the late hours of Saturday night and early hours of today, suspected bandits stormed the Government Science Secondary School Ikire in Ikire local government area in an attempt to kidnap students. Fortunately, the students utilized the security warning system in place and were thus able to alert security forces in the area. The security forces, comprising the troops of the Nigerian Army, police, and some security volunteers, moved swiftly to the school and engaged the bandits, forcing them to flee. The military and police are still on the trail of the armed bandits. Following a head count by the school management, Kaduna State government can confirm to you that all 307 students have been verified safe and present. The attempted kidnap was foiled completely and no student was taken from the school. Similarly, around EVERARD village in Igabi local government area, bandits attempted to attack a senior staff quarters around the Kaduna Airport General area. This attempt was also foiled as troops of the Nigerian Air Force and the Nigerian Army engaged and repelled them, with several escaping with gunshot wounds.
The story is different in Bauchi State, where 2 persons, including a policeman, have been killed by gunmen at the Safer Highways base of the Nigerian police in Nabodo Toro village in Bauchi State. The policeman, identified as Inspector Makta Ibrahim, was shot dead, while the son of the ward head of Nabodo, Uba Samaila, who had gone to visit the inspector, was also killed in the attack. The police public relations officer, Ahmed Wakili, confirms that the attack was carried out at about 9:30 p.m. yesterday on men of the Safer Highways who patrol Bauchi-Jos Road. He says another civilian was also hit by a bullet and is currently receiving treatment and recuperating. According to him, more patrol teams have been deployed to the area, while men on stop-and-search operations have been put on high alert. It's a similar situation in Ekiti State, where gunmen shot at a commercial vehicle in transit between Ikire and Iju, a border town in Ondo State, killing 1 passenger. Police authorities in Ekiti State confirmed that the driver of the commercial bus and the passengers ran to a police station in Ikire to report that while they were on their way from Ondo State, The gunmen came out of the bush and started shooting. The driver was said to have increased his speed to escape the impending attack, but a passenger was hit by a bullet in the process and later died at the hospital. The Ikire State Police Commissioner calls for calm, assuring that the command in both states will collaborate to nab the attackers. Early in the past week, he had visited communities across the state to hold town hall meetings on security concerns. Staying with security tonight, police authorities in OSUN State have confirmed only one person was injured when a family of 6 was attacked at a village near Wasimi along the Ife-Ibadan Expressway in OSUN State today. The State Commissioner of Police says, contrary to media reports, only one member of the family was injured in the attack, as he also ruled out any link with farmer-herder crisis. The police chief, Mr. Olawale Olokode, explains that the police operatives from Ikire Division and other law enforcement agencies were promptly drafted to the scene to prevent further attacks on residents in the area and arrest the perpetrators, but the attackers escaped on citing the security team. He adds that investigation is currently ongoing to arrest the perpetrators as he appeals the Commissioner of Police appeals to the state residents, particularly those in Ikire and its environs, not to panic, but collaborate with police, giving timely information that will help arrest the culprits. Some words of encouragement and a new task for troops at the theatre of war in Borno State as the president has asked them to rid Nigeria of terrorists. The president's message was conveyed by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, who visited the theatre command. He was accompanied by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, Chief of Air Force, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, and the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo. It is the second visit of the service chiefs of the troops since their appointment in January.
Is fully briefed and aware of how and well you are doing. I personally, as your Chief of Army Staff, am here to take cognizance and note of the challenges you have and ensure they are addressed. To ensure you have the highest level of morale to be able to do your job and do it proudly as Nigerian soldiers. I'm very pleased. Your commanders have told me what you have done collectively as part of Operation Turata Kaibongo. You have pushed the Boko Haram insurgents. We are so proud of you. And I believe in the second phase of that operation, you will do more. How's the morale? So ensure you go out there and push them so hard and bring this entire insurgency to an end. All your challenges I've catalogued, I will address all the problems. Well done.
While efforts to contain the scourge of terrorism, banditry and kidnapping continues, the National Research Institute for Chemical Technology, Zaria in Kaduna State, says it has commenced the invention of a technology that can detect improvised explosive devices to tackle security challenges. The Director General of the Institute, Professor Jeffrey Barminas, who gave the hint, explains that the project, called Chemical, Biological and Radiological and Decontamination Facility, can detect any mute explosive device wherever it is planted and can consequently neutralize such weapons before they harm people in communities. According to the Director General, Nigeria is capable of winning the war against terrorism and other related crimes through information communication technology, which is properly deployed and funded.
There's a project that we have. We call it Chemical, Biological, and Radiological Decontamination Facility. The facilities that we have there, we also use ICT to run them. And with that aspect, Let me tell you just one aspect of it. To detect an improvised device in the society where terrorists use. But with the facility that we have, and we're using ICT to also help us to detect such, we believe that at the end of the day, that kind of detection will prevent what? Terrorists from using them, prevent miscreants from bringing bomb into the system to kill citizens. We are talking about COVID these days now. The product that we produce, they are very, very effective. One of the products that we gave you, the method of nanosilver, is our own formulation and is very effective in exterminating the virus.
In other news, residents of Abule Ado-Shoba have held an interdenominational memorial service for those who died in the pipeline explosion that rocked the community a year ago. Prayers are held in honor of the departed as the community continues to call on government to fulfill promises made shortly after the blast. Our correspondent, Dari Idowu, reports.
March 15, 2020, a Sunday morning blast changed the landscape in this neighborhood. Many buildings caved in. Some residents who made it out alive are still living to tell their stories. Some are not so fortunate. The Catholic Girls' School leveled, now an open field, is where the residents are gathered today to pray for the departed souls.
All this going to be in peace. We are in peace before. Now in peace, then we will be in peace and peace. We will be in peace. And it's so Rabika. Rabbi Isaac Amayasifun. What salam Amen.
The Bible says affliction will never rise for the second time. And everyone that is a member of this committee, I pray we will never see these Egyptians any longer. And let this one be a start for favor in the community. And let this be a start of open door in this community. And as a child of God, we believe in what God can do. If God could sustain our life up to this time, this is the same Jesus will give us what we are looking for in this community. In Jesus' name.
They are also appealing to the government to fulfill its promise to the residents of the area.
Many of our landlords, they have borrowed money to do little renovations that we have saw here today. And then we will want Lagos State and the entire Nigeria, President Buhari himself, to please to come to our aid. Several of our members lost their people, about 30 of them died there, and only few have been compensated. Only few of them have been compensated. We would also like Lagos State to honor his pledge to compensate those ones. Some of our members were hospitalized. Only few of them where the hospital bill has been paid.
1 year after, and it is clear that the road to recovery has been slow for some of the residents, while some have abandoned their property.
We have taken the issue to court with the NNPC. So that's another issue. The federal government sent their delegation. The speaker was here, the governor of the state, the deputy governor, and the southwest governors. They made a promise to the people that this issue were affected. And till now, they have met up with their promises.
Repair work has recently been carried out on the exact spot where the pipeline was said to have been ruptured before the fire was ignited. Residents are hoping that the deadly blast they experienced a year ago will be the last in the community. Dari Idowu, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says Nigeria's current challenges are stepping stones to a greater future as Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma marks 1 year in office. Join us again. Welcome back. If you've joined us watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos, here's a reminder of our top stories. Less than 48 hours after the abductions at the College of Forestry, troops foil another kidnap attempt in Kaduna State. Residents of Abule Ado-Shoba hold memorial service 1 year after a deadly pipeline explosion which claimed at least 15 lives. Nigeria's music sensations Burna Boy and Wizkid win coveted Grammy awards. But it's another bloody day in the Myanmar's main city, Yangon, as security officers opened fire on protesters, killing at least 14 persons. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has described the current travails faced by Nigeria as stepping stones to a greater future for the country. He made the comments today at a special interdenominational Thanksgiving service to mark the first anniversary of the administration of Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State. Governor Uzodinma has vowed not to fail the people of his state and will continue to serve them with honesty, dedication and accountability.
Gan Iron Stadium in Ord, Imo State capital, venue of the interdenominational church service to mark the one-year anniversary of Hope Uzodinma as governor of Imo State.
We give you glory, we give you glory.
The stadium is filled to capacity with indigents of the state, party loyalists, political associates, and friends of the governor from within and outside of the state.
Oh yes, oh yes.
The arrival of the governor and the vice president signals the commencement of this all-important event.
Thank you for the opportunity to present ourselves in thanksgiving to you.
After the prayers comes the moment for congratulatory speeches by the Senate President Hamid Lawan and the Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo.
We have some issues today. We have some security challenges. No country ever developed without facing challenges. But what makes the difference is the willingness, the capacity to fight your challenges, and we can do this together and make Nigeria a safer place, a better place, and provide a growth for all people of Nigeria to have a better life.
Your administration has invested extensively in construction, several road projects. I'm told almost 46 different road projects so far. And the rehabilitation and reconstruction of educational and health institutions, as well as markets. His administration is currently taking a number of measures aimed at restoring power supply to rural communities and increasing power supply to urban areas as well.
For the chief host and governor of Imo State, his vision and mission from the moment he assumed office as governor is never to fail the people of the state, but to continue to serve with utmost honesty, dedication, and accountability.
I vowed from day one that I will neither fear God nor Imo people. I entered into a voluntary covenant with my God that I will serve Imo people with utmost honesty and that I will do all within my behest as governor to make life far better for Imo people than I met it.
According to the state government, this interdenominational church service is the first in a series of events lined up to mark the governor's 1 year in office. On January the 15th, 2020, the Supreme Court declared Governor Uzodinma the winner of the 2019 governorship election in Imo State after several months of legal battle. Eyitope Ekute, Channels Television News.
Motorists in most parts of Lagos can now heave a sigh of relief as fuel prices and sales have returned to 162 naira per litre. The initial crisis of price distortion followed the advice by the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency, which led to petrol queues have since been reversed. The federal government says it is still negotiating with relevant stakeholders, including the Nigeria Labour Congress, to arrive at a win-win situation.
On Friday morning, long queues of vehicles either hoping to find a few liters of petrol at any price or those completely caught up in the chaos had the better part of the day. Unlike replica situations in the past, this was however short-lived as government quickly mopped up the suggested mix-up created by one of its agencies.
There has not been any form of fuel increase, fuel price increase, and we have made it very clear to the marketers, and there will be sanctions.
Several hours after that, it's back to status quo, but not without some expressions by motorists.
It was a very bad experience on Friday. I felt so bad when I heard there was an increment in fuel because it was sudden. So many people were not aware about that. It was just few guys that were selling black market, but I have no any other option than to buy a black market at a very high price.
Away from the harrowing narrative is some understanding of what should be done.
If we are producing oil in the country and we are selling it, to be not as high as we are, the cost of importing it, and at the end of the day, giving it to the marketers to sell at their rate. As far as I'm concerned, the best thing is for the government to focus on our refineries and ensure that it's okay.
To elevate that conversation is to possibly dissect the workings of the new realities.
I think a lot of people were asking for deregulation without knowing the consequences that comes with it. Deregulation comes with these goods and the bad. Let's say the good and the bad side of it. For the good, the federal government will earn more because the crude oil price will increase in the international market. But at home, definitely we have to pay for it because the price at the international market affects the local sales of PMS. So for me, I think whatever the case may be is a reality we need to face.
The events of this weekend is one a lot of motorists and residents, especially here in Lagos, would want to confine to their past. It was an ugly situation over the weekend because of the scarcity or the mix-up in pricing that emanated. Truth is, normalcy has returned and you can drive to any fuel station and find the product. But the reality is that the issues still remain something that needs to be sorted by government. The issue of deregulation, the issue of international crude oil price, and the understanding that needs to be communicated effectively to those who seek this product, PMS. The other issue is the refineries, which the Group Managing Director has promised that there's a process in place that will see it being managed and run by professionals and consultants, and that is in the pipeline and that's in the offing. Hopefully sometime before or by the end of the year, that negotiation and that process will come on stream. The document by PPPRA, which seeks to guide and advise on fundamentals of crude oil, its implication as a globally priced commodity, has been thrown up among other issues that require foreclosure. There is no denying the respite being witnessed currently. The curiosity, however, by many is how temporal or permanent can this be? Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Health authorities have been reassuring Nigerians that the AstraZeneca vaccine currently being deployed to combat COVID-19 is safe for use as well as effective against these strains of the virus found in the country. The Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shuaib, told Channels Television's Ladi Akredulale on our current affairs program, Newsnight, that careful and thorough investigations and checks were carried out by the various regulatory agencies before any vaccine was approved for procurement and use.
The predominant variant of the COVID-19 vaccine in South Africa is the strain that is known as the B1351. This B1351 has been found to be resistant to the AstraZeneca vaccine in South Africa. But working with the NCDC and many research institutions, we've not found this strain in Nigeria. What it means is that the strains that we have are susceptible to the vaccine. When we give the vaccines will be able to protect against those strains that currently exist in Nigeria. We've been looking and we've not found the South African strain. We found the UK strain, the B117,
but we've also are aware that that strain is susceptible to the COVID-19, the AstraZeneca vaccine. That is to say, the vaccine protects against that variant. We're working very closely with the NCDC to watch out for the existence of this South African strain. This is why it is particularly important that we roll out our vaccines rapidly, so that we don't give additional opportunities for the strains to populate Nigeria, or for even the strains that are in Nigeria to mutate and become, not susceptible to the AstraZeneca vaccine that we have.
You can watch the full interview with Dr. Shuaib on Newsnight. It airs tomorrow, Monday, March 15th, 2021 at 9 p.m. right here. When the news at 10 returns, senior lawyer Femi Falana accuses federal government of frustrating trial of former Delta State Governor James Ibori in the UK, but now wants to receive the recovered loot. Plus, BURNA Boy and Wizkid, also known as Starboy, win Grammy Awards. Join us again. Welcome back. Health authorities in Nasarawa State have described the level of compliance of residents with the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination as overwhelming. The Executive Secretary to the state's Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Mohammed Addis, disclosed this to Channels Television during an interview in Lafia, the Nasarawa State capital. Our correspondent Halima Gayom has a report.
About 61,000 doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine released to Nasarawa State. Health workers launched the vaccination exercise immediately. The State Director of Public Health takes the lead.
I am very happy to be the first person to take the vaccine on behalf of the people of Nasarawa State. And the reason why we're doing this is to show people that this vaccine is safe and that this vaccine is effective.
And then the governor. His deputy and other ranking members of the state executive cabinet follow suit. Governor Sule urges residents to do same.
Please use the opportunity, especially those that are considered like frontline people, those who are daily exposed, including the commissioners, our traditional rulers who come in touch with people every day, a majority of our staff, all those who are exposed, at the moment, I call on every one of you to use the opportunity to take it.
With over 4,000 vaccinators across the state carrying out the exercise, the response from residents beats the imagination of authorities.
I am overwhelmed by the response that we're getting in Nasarawa State, and I think it's due to the strategy that we're able to adapt from National Primary Health Care and again the workaround of the health workers in Nasarawa State.
Hannatu, who was initially skeptical, visits the state walk-in vaccination point. She gets her shot and now plans to extend the message to her loved ones.
In my office, when I say we should come, many of them say they will not come. So I pick courage. I say, what is there? I will come just to come and have it. Even my friends, I'm going to call them so that they should come and have it. They say prevention is better than cure.
Over 5,000 persons in the state have been vaccinated so far in the procedure, which is ongoing across all the local government areas. For the section of the populace who may be unwilling to get the vaccine, authorities have continued to reiterate the safety and effectiveness of the vaccine, as most of them have come out to get their jabs publicly. About 61,000 doses to the number of persons willing to get their shots is the current argument looming. However, authorities are sure that additional doses are anticipated. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
Staying with health matters, residents of Gashua, Nguru and Jakusko local government areas of northern part of Yobe State are asking the federal government to support the state in finding a permanent solution to cases of kidney failure in the communities. A condition, they say, always requires dialysis or kidney transplant. According to findings and statistical records from 2018, Northern Yobe has 25% kidney failure prevalence. Residents also reveal that 1 in 3 persons in the area is at risk of coming down with the disease.
According to the Nigerian Association of Nephrology, about 18,000 kidney failure patients need dialysis yearly in Nigeria. Each session of dialysis costs an average of 30,000 naira, and a patient needs 3 sessions per week, which means that patients pay about 400,000 naira monthly to survive. An amount almost impossible for residents of Gashua, Jakusko, Nguru, and Karsua communities in northern Yobe State, who have hundreds of people suffering from kidney failure.
Kidney problem in Gashua town is in epidemic proportion. Now, over the years, it has claimed so many lives, and sadly, not much has been done to really overcome the problem.
The state government tries to help by providing free dialysis to all indigents of the state. However, getting to the root cause of the problem will require scientific research.
Dialysis in itself is not an end. You need to have a kidney transplant. It's just a bridge to kidney transplant. Yobe State government also went further by sending a top management of these hospitals and some experts to the Arab Republic of Egypt, to the Urology and Nephrology Center in Mansoura.
The patients are nonetheless grateful for the free dialysis provided by the state government.
For this service that I'm having now, I'm very grateful for the government because they are giving us free service. We are not paying any kobo.
While the search for the cause of the kidney failure in these communities continue, health experts have some advice for the residents.
So when you know the underlying causes and you do the medical checkup, the plus filtrations, meaning hydration, liberal fluid, you take a lot of water, at least more especially the Yobe North is a many sunny part, that is arid zone. So people, most of what I look into it, that they neglect drinking of water.
Recent findings in Nigeria have linked the increasing rate of kidney failure with the proliferation of alcoholic herbal drinks in the country and the use of paracetamol as meat tenderizers by food vendors. In 2020, the Nigerian Association of Nephrology declared that 25 million Nigerians were suffering from kidney failure. For the residents of northern Yobe, finding a permanent solution to this disease is crucial.
As Nigeria awaits the repatriation of the country's loot recovered by the UK government from some friends and associates of former Delta State Governor James Ibori, a senior lawyer, Mr. Femi Falana, is accusing the federal government of not being supportive of the prosecution of Ibori in the UK. Mr. Falana said in a statement today that former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Michael Aundaka rejected the request to make relevant documents available for the trial in the United Kingdom on the ground of sovereignty, and that the former AGF refused to entertain the request of the UK Metropolitan Police and made under bilateral mutual assistance in Nigeria on the ground that the request was not made by the Home Office. Mr. Falana insists that as far as international law is concerned, the recovered fund belongs to the people of Delta State, who are the victims of the corrupt practice of Chief Ibori, and the British government is releasing the stolen money to Nigeria in strict compliance with international law and not out of sheer generosity, as erroneously argued by some lawyers. He adds that the federal government had handed over the funds stolen by 2 former governors in similar circumstances to the people of Bayelsa and Plateau states, and that Delta State should not be an exception. Last week, the UK government made a commitment to return £4.2 million recovered from Chief Ibori and his family and associates to the federal government. The former Delta State governor was jailed by a UK court in 2012. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has said the recovered loot will be channeled into federal projects, a position which Mr. Falana and several others have rejected. Meanwhile, the federal government has distributed the sum of 58 million naira to 2,900 women in Benue State under the pilot phase of the conditional cash grant of 20,000 naira each to rural women, with a commitment to extending the program, which provisions have been made for in the 2021 budget. The same feat is also recorded in Borno State, where 116 million naira is being disbursed to rural women as part of the federal government's social inclusion plan aimed at lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty.
These women and girls who are gathered in this hall at the Borno State Government House have been selected to benefit from the federal government's grant. The federal government has set a target to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years, and this grant of 20,000 naira to some of the vulnerable people in the state is intended to meet this target. 5,840 women have been selected in Borno State alone.
The grant is expected to increase access to financial capital required for economic activities.
The Borno State government, faced with the burden of nearly 2 million people affected by the insurgency and who have lost their livelihood, welcomes this intervention.
This intervention will undoubtedly go down to the targeted groups and is going to be of great help to them to start the pieces of their lives afresh after a decade long of insurgency that rendered many people homeless and economically weak in this part of the country.
One by one, beneficiaries armed with their business plans receive the funds. In Benue State, 2,900 women drawn from the 23 local government areas of the state converged at the IBB Square, Makurdi, for the pilot phase of the federal government's conditional cash grant to rural women.
Knowing that women are multipliers.
Addressing the beneficiaries, the First Lady of Benue State encouraged them to engage in trades with high returns in the food value chain, where the state has comparative advantage.
Even though 20,000 may seem little, but there is so much you can also do with 20,000. You can start a pure water business. You can do zobo, you can do soya milk, you can sell mineral, you can sell donuts, chin-chin.
One of the beneficiaries expressed appreciation for the funds.
I would like to use the 20,000 naira for starting the business of firewood.
The federal government has so far distributed the sum of 58 million naira to 2,900 women in Benue State under the pilot phase of a conditional cash transfer of 20,000 naira each to rural women, with a commitment to extend the program in the 2021 budget.
Residents of Owolomo and Efroto communities in Delta State can now, dance with joy, as the construction of a bridge linking their communities has now been completed after 39 years. The project, which was first awarded 39 years ago, was completed by Governor Fayo Okowa to help deal with the flooding usually experienced by these communities and help ease movement of people and goods.
100 meters long bridge and a height of 45 meters above water level, with side drain on both sides of the approach. The Ovwo-Efurun Auto Bridge was constructed basically to help link communities within the area and also create a natural channel for water evacuation to help reduce the effect of flooding usually experienced in these communities. In order to enforce perfection, Delta State government officials are here for an inspection, and the people are delighted over the completion of the project.
For quite so many years, it has been a challenge to us, because you want to leave over here for a front of here. You can see that the two communities just a stone throw, but you must drive through from Owo to Teri, Ugeli main town, a Kubo community, Igwe community, before you can access here. But with this bridge now, you want to leave here to Warina, it's so easy for you to go. So it's something of great joy to us.
Several communities on either side of the bridge. All those different communities are connected with one another. In which case, if you are coming from Owo, there are villages before Owo that will not take advantage of that bridge to be able to cross to Efroto. What that means is that all those other communities, and indeed those of us who may be visiting from other places, have been connected with both our kids and kin across the both sides of the bridge. So in that case, it's a bridge that is connecting several possibilities.
Next, the team inspects the rehabilitation and resealing of Otu Jeremy Okwagbe Road and the construction of Okwagbe Otutuama Esaba Road, Phase 1, all in Ugeli South local government. The projects are completed and will be inaugurated by Governor Ifeanyi Okowa along with the Governor of Edo State, Mr. Godwin Obaseki.
Yes, congratulations are in order for Nigeria's singer Burna Boy celebrating his first ever Grammy Award at the 2021 Grammy Awards earlier today. Burna Boy won alongside Wizkid, both of them winning the coveted Grammy Prize at the 63rd Grammy Awards. The self-professed African giant carted away the prize for the Best World Music category with his twice-as-tall album. Burna Boy became second-time lucky after missing the prize the previous year to veteran multiple winner Angelique Kidjo. Wizkid picked up the prize for his collaboration with American singer Beyoncé and her daughter Blue Ivy for the track Brown Skin Girl in the Best Music Video category, beating fellow nominees Future with Drake, Anderson .Paak, Harry Styles and Wizkid. Both acts now join Nigerian drummer Sikiru Adepoju in the class of Nigerian musicians with Grammy Awards added to their titles after Adepoju earned one as a part of Mickey Hart's group Planet Drum, whose title album won the Grammy Award for the Best Contemporary World Music Album back in 1991. Beyond our shores, still at least 14 people have been killed during clashes between protesters and police in Myanmar's Yangon city as another day of anti-coup protests degenerated into chaos. Security forces opened fire in the Hileng Tiaya area on protesters using sticks and knives to protect themselves. The junta has declared martial law in the area and in neighboring Swepita. The protesters have been standing their ground in Yangon despite coming under heavy threats with the presence of security forces who have been opening fire and lobbing tear gas, killing protesters. A social media live stream earlier on Sunday from the flashpoint of Hileng Teha, an industrial zone in Yangon, showed protesters wearing hard hats and crouching behind homemade shields as they confronted the armed security forces. By evening, the death toll had risen to 14. Chaos erupted in the town of Pakant in northeastern Myanmar as protesters splashed water to dilute tear gas smoke as they faced off with armed police. And in Myanmar's southwest, a youth group organized a protest with no people, using only placards and signs to call for the release of detainees, abolition of dictatorship, and a return to democracy. The Ayayawadi Karen Youth Seminar posted photographs of their protest on social media, showing signs with the words, mutual respect, equality and justice, and we support civil disobedience movement, filled a walkway in the city of Yondong. More than 80 people have been killed as of Saturday since military seizure of power last month, and over 2,100 people have been arrested. Meanwhile, the acting leader of Myanmar's parallel civilian government, Man Wing Keng Tan, who is on the run along with most senior officials from the ruling National League for Democracy Party, has vowed to pursue a revolution to overturn the junta. He said this in his first public address since the military took over on February 1st. He also said the government will seek to give people the legal right to defend themselves. The UK's Home Secretary Priti Patel has called for an independent investigation into the Met Police's handling of a vigil for Sarah Everard, a 33-year-old marketing executive from South London who disappeared while walking home to Brixton after visiting a friend in Clapham before her bodily remains were found in a wooded area of Ashford Town in Kent. Officers handcuffed women and removed them from crowds on Clapham Common in London on Saturday. Ms. Patel says she wants an external view on policing decisions taken in the light of COVID rules. But Met Police Chief Dame Cressida Dick, who has faced calls to resign, said she was not considering her position. The number of people who have contracted the coronavirus in Africa has surpassed 4 million, according to the African Centre for Disease Control. The pandemic has since claimed 107,001 lives, as many more countries eagerly await a crucial boost to its life-saving vaccination campaigns through COVAX. Here's more on the situation around the world in our global updates.
The use of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has been suspended in the Republic of Ireland. The National Immunisation Advisory Committee recommended the move following reports of serious blood clotting events in Norway. Although a handful of other countries, including Denmark and Thailand, have also suspended its use, the World Health Organization has said countries should not stop using the vaccine as there's no link between the jab and an increased risk of developing a clot.
Require masking and social distancing.
To other developments, top U.S. infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci says he hopes former President Donald Trump will urge his supporters to get the COVID-19 vaccine. As recent polls show high levels of hesitancy among Republicans, Dr. Fauci says it would make all the difference in the world if the former president used his incredible influence among Republicans to push them to accept the coronavirus vaccine. Singapore says it hopes to start reopening its borders to tourists at the end of 2021 and could allow travel with Australia even sooner under a travel bubble that could start in July. The travel bubble would allow vaccinated people to travel between Singapore and Australia. The country is also discussing the use of vaccine certificates with other countries. And finally, police have used water cannon and batons to disperse a crowd of several thousand anti-lockdown protesters a day before elections in the Netherlands. The demonstration was broken up after protesters flouted social distancing rules and ignored police warnings to disperse. Several arrests were made during the clashes.
South Africa's Patrice Motsepe has been speaking on his election as CAF president at the 43rd CAF General Assembly. He wants the new executives to set their eyes on making African football not only competitive, but dominant in global sport. The 59-year-old billionaire has a track record of success in his undertakings. Our next report takes a look at the expectations from Motsepe in his new role.
A new era begins as Patrice Motsepe succeeds Madagascar's Ahmad Ahmad as Confederation of African Football president. The new president promises to tackle problems facing African football.
The leadership we have in Africa, the leadership we have of football in every country. It is that leadership that gives me confidence and that inspires me, and I'm absolutely confident working together we will indeed succeed to make African football not just reach the summit, but be amongst the best in the world.
The South African billionaire is no stranger to African football.
You know, sometimes we see the problems and the failures and the weaknesses in CAF, and there are challenges. But we must also focus on the optimistic, on the positive, on a lot of the good work that many of the staff people, our committees, the governing committee, all of these the ethics committee, all of these structures within CAF that really have excellent people.
Nevertheless, observers are quick to point out areas that require immediate attention.
The first area of concentration for the new CAF president will be on TV rights issue. As soon as Ahmad did come, a lot of people were happy that he was going to organize it, and we had the sponsor for all our competitions. Unfortunately, it did not go to plan. Secondly, let's talk about facilities. African teams could really do with facilities.
With the kind of person that he is, he owns Sundown. I mean, he's someone who is keen to sponsorship, so he should be able to raise sponsorship for club football in Africa.
The Cairo-based organization will need the support of member associations, stakeholders and partners to achieve desired goals.
Clearly, we see that from an African perspective, we have to repackage competitions. Secondly, that stakeholder relationship and partners with the business sector always precede sponsorship or commercial revenue into the sport.
He's a man of impeccable character, a man of integrity, a game changer, and football is a game loved by so many. That creates a lot of entertainment and employment and empowerment.
Expectations are high, but there is a lot of optimism that CAF's new leadership can deliver.
A first Premier League goal for Martin Odegaard and Alexander Lacazette penalties saw Arsenal come from behind to beat 10-man Spurs in the North London derby. Mikel Arteta's side dominated much of the match but fell behind with an outrageous goal from Eric Lamela, who was later shown a red card. Leandro Trossard's second-half strike provided a vital winner for Brighton to move 3 points clear of the relegation zone with a 2-1 victory at Southampton. And the main news again, to Nigerian sensations Wizkid and Burna Boy both won the coveted Grammy Prize at the 63rd Grammy Awards. Burna Boy, the self-professed African giant, carted away the prize for Best World Music category with his twice-as-tall album, while Wizkid picked up the prize for his collaboration with American singer Beyoncé and her daughter Blue Ivy for the track Brown Skin Girl. Huge congratulations to both artists. Thanks for watching the news at 10. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Good night.